to be talking about how business owners can set themselves apart through experiences. And I have a special guest who's going to be coming on to join us today, one of the leading event companies in Ghana. And she is our event partner for our experience in Ghana this October. So she's going to be coming on to share with us a little bit about creating an experience and how business owners can use that to set themselves apart. So many business owners do not understand the value of, and it doesn't have to be an event, right? Even though we're talking about events, but honestly, events are part of business. I don't care what kind of business you have, whether it's a product or a service, an event is part of the business. Do you know that even when your customers come to connect with you or come into your store, there's an experience that they have to have. And a lot of the elements in an event really impact, can be used in that customer experience. And so even if you have never had an event before or not thinking about having an event, really you should tune into this and you should let other people know about this because it is going to help you. My business has been built by events. We never really had a marketing budget, and we just now are starting to run ads. Like in almost a decade of growing my business, we have grown organically through extraordinary events. And even when we didn't have any money at the beginning, it was, being intentional and creative that allowed us to have fabulous events on a tight budget. And those spoke for me. I can't tell you how many times I've been somewhere where someone says, "Oh, you're the one that does these events," right? Even before we became Iconic Womanhood, our business started with an event, and they are a pillar of how we grow our brand. A lot of people are afraid of events because they are hard. They're expensive. Sometimes it's hard to get butts in seats, and that's why having an event strategy really matters, right? And that's why I'm excited to have her on to talk to you. Like when I said I was going to do an event in Ghana, I did not just say I'm just going to go do it, right? I wanted to partner with someone who really knew what she was talking about. And she's going to share a lot of those things when she comes on in just a little bit. So I want you to get your questions ready. The other thing that I think this will be helpful for, even if you're not a business owner, I honestly think, I did a little reel a while ago, and I said that if you are a woman and you want to be a woman who is compelling and own the room, and you want to attract the best relationships, the best opportunities, maybe you're a corporate maven and you're not trying to build a business, you need to think differently. You need to think about creating an experience around you. Like when I interact with you, it should be an experience. Like I'm not just talking to you, I am experiencing you. And if you are intentional about that, then it will help you build your personal brand. If you are intentional about saying, I'm going to create an experience, all right? And if you actually think with this idea that everything I do is an event, you will find that you will express yourself differently and people will begin to find you so much more compelling. Thank you for being on. If we are meeting for the first time, my name is Ekene Onu, and I am the lead coach for the Iconic Womanhood community. And I run a series of programs. I have the mastermind, I do some private coaching. But one of our signature things is the Iconic Womanhood Weekend and Voyage Iconic, which we just launched, right? And so I used to be a pharmacist in my own life, switched careers, and really went deep dove into becoming an executive coach, got my training at Georgetown, Cornell, and a number of notable institutions. And so I have a lot of really great certifications and deep mastery of the subject. And so, but even with that, we expressed our business and our goals through events, and that is how we have grown steadily, right? Steadily, highly profitable, right? Even though events are hard to monetize, they bring in, and I'll talk about some of the things that we've done, right? They bring in solid money. I don't usually talk numbers, but we're doing pretty well. We're doing pretty well. And events are a large part of that. This is our biggest endeavor, to do a transatlantic series of events, because we're not just doing one event, we're doing a series of events in Ghana. And so I knew that I didn't even want to leave it to chance. I do have a team member in Accra who lives in Accra, but there is just no way we can do that by ourselves. And so we try to partner with the best. And so I'm so excited that we've partnered with Debra-Jane of Think Mahogany. Debra-Jane, thank you for being here. You look fabulous. Love your signature red lip. And everyone, I want you to welcome Debra-Jane Nelson. I want to read a little bit about who she is before we go any deeper into this conversation. And she is our guest today. She's a woman of faith. She is currently manifesting God's gift in her through entrepreneurship, philanthropy, and impact. She is a multiple award-winning African creative. She's a social impact change maker, and she has put Ghanaian event management on the global market with a huge presence. She owns and manages one of Ghana's leading event production companies called Think Mahogany Events. And I'm so excited to have her. Let me tell you, the reason why I am privileged to have her on is because she is our event partner for our iconic womanhood series of events that we're doing this October in Ghana. Let me tell you, she's the reason why I'm not panicking. Because it is a frightening thing to say that you are going to put together something of this scale, right? And I live here in the US, I live in Atlanta, and I'm literally conceptualizing this thing from across the Atlantic. And the costs, the ideas, and we have some big ideas, Debra-Jane. We have iconic level ideas. And I'm just presenting it to her. I'm like, okay, Debra-Jane. He's like, you know what? Let me get my team together. This one requires the team, right? And so she has brought her people and elevated the event, the quality of the event. I brought my concepts to her, but she has elevated it. She has brought her connections, brought her ideas, brought her structure, helped me see things differently. And I'm so grateful. It's when you guys come, those of you that have already bought your ticket and those of you that are buying your ticket, when you come, just give her a big hug, because she's a large part of why everything is going to go so beautifully. And those of you planning to do things in Accra, because I know lots of you are thinking about Accra. I know lots of you, listen, Debra-Jane, I said the other day, people are planning trips to Accra. Now people are planning to do events in Accra. When you plan to do your events, because we do things first. That's why we're iconic. Go and see Debra-Jane, because if there's one thing I do that I have a gift of, is identifying extraordinary talent. And the women that I work with, the vendors I work with, are all amazing. And when I tell you, go see her, you will not regret it. In fact, before we go into it, because I want you to understand who you're talking to, Debra-Jane did an event. I said, we had already contracted with her. We had already talked to her before. But the Kamala Harris, the VP of the United States, went to Ghana. And I just saw, I said, it's our Think Mahogany that is handling that event. Hey, Debra-Jane, don't talk to me anyhow. We're now another level. So without further ado, guys, welcome Miss Debra-Jane.
Thank you so much. I see Irene just saying, consider joining us this October. Yes, please join us this October. I'm even more excited than the people coming for the event. I tell you that. Yeah.
It's going to be so good. So I've told people who you are and what you do, but I'm sure that most people sitting on here are business owners or thinking about business and wanting to understand, how did you start? How did you come to own and run one of the leading event companies in Ghana? What inspired you, right? How did you get started?
Okay, so truth be told, but before I go on to it, let me say a very big thank you for the opportunity you have given to me. I'm truly grateful. I'm truly honored. You had a lot of options, but you came to me, and I thank God for that. And I thank you for it. I don't take it for granted at all. So thank you so much. And thank you for the opportunity to speak to you on this live as well. How did Think Mahogany Events start? Now, you'd be surprised. I actually moved from UK to Ghana 14 years ago for love.
Oh.
It was for love. It wasn't to do events.
Give us the gist.
Yeah, so I moved to Ghana, and I was actually working in a medical laboratory.
Okay.
Nothing events related, no. So I was in a lab, but yes, love didn't work out. I was ready to pack my bags and come back to England. But you know, when something within you just says, do not give up so easily. And now, today, I always say that God needed me to be in Ghana for a reason. And he just had to use that love as a tool to get me there. Because if it wasn't for that, I don't think I would have gone to Ghana. So I had to get there. But yeah, so that didn't work out. And I left my job anyway prematurely because I thought I was coming back. And whilst looking for a new job in waiting, I assisted somebody to do an event. And just from that event came multiple events. And here we are today.
Awesome. So you had a natural flair for it, it sounds like.
Yeah. So I would say, you know what, I wouldn't say I have a natural flair for putting events together, but I have a natural flair for producing excellence. I'm very meticulous. So everything that I want to do, I make sure I do it very well. So when I started doing events, then, like I said, the passion was not really about the event I was doing. The passion was delivering a service, delivering an experience, and doing it well. You know, that was it for me. And that is it with everything that I do. Even if I don't like to cook, but if I say I'm cooking, I give it my all. I do it with love, you know. So that is what's brought me this far.
I can relate to that. I can relate to that. That spirit of excellence, you can see it, right? And anyone who brings that energy and that idea that I want to bring my best, right? They typically are successful at whatever they're doing, because even if you don't have 100% knowledge about every piece of it, you bring in the right team because you're seeking excellence. So yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. So it took you, love brought you. Love failed you. That's okay, right? And then you birth a new version of yourself in Ghana, and you started following, you know, this came and you did this, and little by little, right? And then now it's this big events company.
Yeah.
And you're one of the leading ones, right? So what sets you apart? Like, because there's so many events company, like you said, there's so many different people. What makes Think Mahogany and the work you do as Debra-Jane, what sets you apart? What are the things that make you, you know, your unique value proposition?
Okay. You know, when I started doing events at the time, my advantage at the time was there were just a few events companies. There were a lot of decorators. And at the time, once somebody was a decorator at an event, automatically the client would assume they would help with every other thing, even though that was their forte. So I identified a gap. I was like, hold on a minute. I've done the event, but I shouldn't be in charge of your cake cutting and making sure your guests are seated and all of that, because I started with decor. So then I thought, hold on, I should be able to sell this service in itself, where they have their own decorator. Then I come in and make sure that everything else falls in place. So proudly, I can say that I began selling that service on its own. So because a lot of, and also at the time, a lot of people that were getting married were around were my peers. And I was kind of like the new thing they wanted to be associated with. I was very big on social media.
Okay.
And that's when social media also became a thing. You know, Instagram was a thing, Facebook was a thing, and I was very popular on there. So automatically I attracted a market and leveraged on that. You know, so I think that for me was my company was birthed at the appropriate time.
I love that.
I came into play when I think God knew my purpose was right. So I took advantage of that, and I was like one of the go-to people without a doubt. But as we grow, I mean, it's been a decade now. Not a lot of people my age are getting married. And now their peers, there's a lot of them doing events. I mean, I've trained over 600 people who are running their own events companies. And a lot of them, their peers are also getting married. So now I'm almost competing with the younger generation for almost the same market. So what sets me apart? Remaining relevant. I learned a long time ago that pride comes before a fall, and I never let how good I am or how demanded I was to get to my head. I always put humility first. No matter how small or no matter how big an event, even if you ask me today that, you know what, Deborah, can you deliver a cup of juice? I'm going to put this cup of juice, I'm going to treat it like you've just given me $1 million job. I get so nervous about every single event. I'm not complacent. And I think that is what sets me apart. I'm not complacent. I take every job very important. I lose sleep over it, to be honest, no matter how big or small. And I've just stayed relevant. And I think that's what sets me apart.
Oh my gosh. So it's so, you said so many things. Like, I feel like we need to unpack each one, especially. I'm going to start with this last piece. Let me call them out so I don't forget. So number one, the spirit of excellence you bring to each job, no matter how big or small. I want to talk about that, right? Because I can relate to that. I want to talk about something you mentioned, this idea of you were released during a certain season, because I believe that we have seasons. That there's a season of your life that if you jump on board, like God has, this is your season, things will just go for you like that. It's like when the wave comes in, right? You can either go with the tide or go against the tide. So often we miss our season because we're afraid or we lack courage or we're distracted. And that, if you jump on the season, it'll just go, but then so many of us, we miss it, and then you're struggling and you're wondering, how come my own was effortless? You missed your season. But the good thing about God's mercy is seasons come around. So I've already talked about that, but let's talk about, and then the third thing I want to talk about is when you said you've trained 600 people. So I want to talk about that too. So let's talk about the second part where you said that no matter the size of the event, you treat it with value. Because for me, we've done, like, I think, we did a number count. I would just say now, conservatively, over 50 live events in person in the years that we've done, right? Not all of them are massive, right? And then we have also done in-person, virtual events, right? Significant, a large number. But I want to share this, what you just said, why it's important. Some people only think that it is when an event is big and dramatic and there's hundreds of people, that's when it has value. My business grew because I realized that I did not, because, I was a bootstrap business. Nobody gave me a check. I didn't have that capital. I started my business with like $2,000 tops. And I didn't have capital. Whatever I had, I would reinvest over the years. And I remember when I first started, at some point it became very clear to me that I didn't have the money to create these large-scale events. And I didn't have the money to market, to have hundreds of people come. Even if I could do one, I didn't know if I could duplicate it. And sustainability is important to me. And so we focused literally for 1.5 years. I remember making a very concrete decision. We were only going to do intimate events no larger than 40, right? In fact, many of them were 20 and under. And we made that part of our unique value proposition. And our thing was, how can we deliver excellence to this small intentional group. And it set me apart. Literally, the women that would come, the women that were attracted to those things, they actually liked that it wasn't like all and sundry, and they liked that they were unique, and no, when you go to a Kinesis event, it's going to be good. Like, that was the way they thought, right? Because we were so intentional. We didn't say because we can't do it big, it doesn't have value, which I think a lot of people make that mistake. And you pointed that out, and I just wanted to call that out, that 100% spot on, that when you are that intentional, it actually attracts people like myself, because I I want people who are like, the way, like you said, if it's this cup, you're going to carry this cup. And I can testify. Y'all, let me testify, because, you know, while Debra-Jane is very, very busy, when we had our meeting, you know, and you can see that she's taking the notes. When I came in with my ideas, I'm like, okay, we're going to do this, and I want us to go to Akosombo, and we're going to do that. And then she just said, Then she's like, well, let me tell you, I don't know if that's going to work. I don't think you're going to have the quality of experience that you want, right? She was able to be very clear with me and started breaking down the pieces and helping me reconstruct it in a way that really made sense for our group. And with our group in this, our event in Accra, we have some events for very intimate, and then we have some events where we're expecting a lot more people. And because of your savvy, you're able to help us with both, right? So I wanted to just highlight you on that. But then here's where I have a question. Here's the question, because I love what you just said about being able to train 600 people that have gone on to start their own businesses. Something that I found, and I mean, let's just be real, we're human beings. A lot of times people get panicky about competition and ego or whatever. And one, they don't share the knowledge they have. So I think it's amazing that you were able to be open enough to train people, especially knowing that they go back and start their own, right? I have many coaches who have come out of my masterminds and started becoming coaches. In fact, I train coaches now, so I can relate to that. But did you have any of that angst? Did you have any of that feeling? And how do you deal with, you know, have you had any, let's talk about that piece. Like, you know, yeah, let's talk about it.
You know, let me be very honest and very open. Let's have an open conversation. Because you're a woman of God, and I know you know what I mean. Whatever is for Debra-Jane is for Debra-Jane.
Come on.
So, and nobody else can be Debra-Jane.
That's right.
So I can, and you know what? I can give them everything I know, but they would never do it like me.
That's right.
I never, you can ask any of my students, and never hold back. I never hold back when I'm teaching them. I teach them as though I was grooming my own child from my womb to take over my business when I'm gone.
Wow.
Even though I'm not looking to leave my business for anybody else to run with, you know, and it's okay for your business to die with you. I've already made up my mind, you know.
You can sell it.
Yeah, people say that to me too. I can sell it, but I'm still thinking about that. But, you know, I'm very selfless in my thoughts. I'm very selfless when I'm teaching, because I believe that when I teach them openly, somebody else will teach me openly. And also, I am not looking at what I am giving them now. I am looking at Ghana events industry as a whole. If Ghana events industry is producing excellence, it says a lot about me. But if I create maybe 100 event planners that are delivering mediocre, it also says a lot about me. Why would I want to create people who are running event companies, yet their event companies are plateau, and me, the teacher, I'm the only one rising? It's not even a good look for me. I want people that came out of me, I want to be able to look back and say, I did that.
That's right.
She is one of mine.
That's
because
right.
it tells a lot about me. You know, if they walk into a client's office and they say, oh, I was trained by Think Mahogany, as much as it's a plus for them, it's even bigger plus for me.
That's
because
right.
there and then they've even advertised my company.
That's right.
And if the client felt, maybe I should go for the person who taught her, instead they've just advertised for me for free.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
But for me, it's very important that whatever I unleash into the world, I'm unleashing excellence. There's no need for me to hold back. I can't do all the events in Accra. Even the small events I have, because of that, I can't sleep. You know, and I don't take on more than I should. I try to limit how many events I take on every month. Even if I'm not making money, my sanity is important.
Yeah.
You know, so I only take on what I can because I also want to be involved in the event. That's another thing that sets me apart.
Yeah.
Every event that I take on, I never leave it to the team. I'm still very connected because I always think that client came to Think Mahogany because of Debra-Jane as well. So no need to just send forth an army and I'm nowhere to be found.
That's right.
So I guess that's
right.
Also one reason why people always come back, because they know I will be there. No matter what, I will be there. And that's the confidence that I also give a lot of people. You know, I prioritize them and their need. So for me, I've never been scared about, oh, I'm going to replicate mini-me's. When I replicate mini-me's, it's a good look for me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love that perspective. I think you just set some people free right now. Somebody right now is listening, like, you know what? I need to totally shift my perspective 100%. 100%. I love that. So let me shift gears a little bit and ask you a question as a business owner, because I know you work with a lot of business owners and you do events for a lot of business owners. So when we think about our businesses, events, I was just saying before you came on that I don't care what kind of business you have, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, at some point you're doing an event, whether it's your launching, whether you're opening your clinic or whatever, you know, at some point, and people like me, we do a lot more events. Events are one of our #1 ways of marketing what we do, because sometimes it's hard for us to, like for me as a coach, sometimes it's hard for me to explain. There are people that don't, they kind of tell you what they do. They're like, I don't know what she does. I just shall go there. When you go, when you experience iconic womanhood, you will know. I don't know how to explain it to you. You just have to go to one of our events. Honestly, people tell me that all the time. And so events are a pillar for us. We would not have grown without it. And so what I want to ask you, because I know people have tried to do events, a lot of people do, and sometimes I've seen a number of different sort of mistakes where, and I've made mistakes myself, right? And I've made marketing mistakes where we didn't market properly and we had very little attendance. In fact, I've had, people don't tell you this, but I've had an event where no one showed up very long time ago. I had to manage myself. I had to pack up I had one event where no one showed up. We didn't have much going on there. But I had an event where we had spent quite a bit of money. We were expecting maybe 30 people, and we had like 4 people. They all packed their food. Me, I packed the rest of the food to my house because the food cannot waste. The food cannot waste, right? But we had to learn from that. But that event was like, I don't know, 2014. It's 2023 now, 2020. And if I had let a failure stop me, I wouldn't be where I am today, right? I learned from it. I've made marketing mistakes. I've made mistakes where I had a beautiful event, but no profits at the end of it, right? So I've made them all, and I've seen people make them. What do you think are some of the most important things that business owners need to consider as far as creating an experience, right, through an event for their client, whatever kind of event? What are some of those things?
Expectations. Expectation, realistic expectation, the environment within which you want to have the event. for me, a lot of people, based on experience, a lot of people do not manage their expectations very well. And I try as much as possible to say to, okay, within this environment, with this kind of event, we're probably expecting this sort of result, but maybe they think I'm a magician. You know, that's another thing. But for me, you know, we all set out to achieve greatness in everything that we do. We all said nobody wants to have an event to fail.
Yeah.
And actually, like I was saying to you, that I get so nervous about people's events that you think it's my event. I'm thinking, what if people don't show up? You know, I'm like nervous. I'm so nervous. Even weddings, I'm nervous. Even kids' parties, I'm nervous. I have a kids' party coming up on the 1st of July, and I'm nervous about the weather, the rain. I'm losing my mind about it. You know, imagine myself into the results that I'm going to give to that client. It's what a lot of, that is the problem. A lot of people expect you to do magic. And as much as you say to them, trust me, your event is just as important to me as it is to you. So why don't you allow, you came to me because you think I can do it. So why don't you allow me to do this?
That's right.
You know, but some people are on you. They don't even give you room to think sometimes, you know, at an event. So, and I also have that problem. When I delegate tasks,
micromanage,
I almost don't even allow them to do it. I end up doing it because I feel like I've asked you to do this, but you're not doing it as fast as I want you to do it. You're not doing it as good as I'm expecting you to do it. That whole thing, you know, and I know it has a very bad effect on my team because maybe they feel like I'm not allowing them to operate. And also maybe they feel, well, if I slack, she's going to do it anyway.
That's a whole management course right there.
Yeah, if I slack, she's going to do it anyway. So if she asks me to call the client at 2 and by 2:15, as much as she's busy, I haven't called, she's going to end up calling herself anyway. So why do I bother? And she's not going to do anything about it.
And I'll still get paid.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, yeah. People's mindsets is also a very difficult thing. You know, we all come from different backgrounds. We all have different upbringings. The way people think very differently. For me, growing up in England and work ethics and how I see things, and then I go to Ghana and I'm working with a whole group of people, not all of them very skilled because I don't need just skilled people in my job. And I'm thinking, what made you even do that? Why would you even do that? It's like, for me, it doesn't even make any sense. But they don't know any different. So also constantly thinking for others. That's also very draining. So working with business people, sometimes I also, and also my hardest clients are busy people. My hardest, people like me are my toughest clients. Our expectations are really high, and because we're on the go, the moment we've given, let's say, 5 minutes to pay attention to one particular thing, we want all the results in that 5 minutes, forgetting that it's different pieces that come together. So I think for instance, I would have been my worst client if I was doing events for myself.
I love the honesty. Yeah, I have to admit, probably, I don't know how your experience of me is as a client. You can feel free to keep that to yourself for now. But I can admit that when I first started using, because we've always done our events in-house, but when we started doing events in different countries, we had to start outsourcing, you know, before we lose our minds. And even when I've done events in Nigeria, and I know that I literally, that's the worst. I was the worst client, at least the first few events. In fact, I don't think that my dear event, I'm not going to mention her name. I'm sure that now if I call her, she won't take my call. Because, and I don't mean, I'm not laughing because I'm proud of it, but, you know, thankfully, I think you have to have a measure of patience because like you said, it was so important to you as a business owner it's so important to you that it goes off without a hitch, and you can't help yourself. You're kind of micromanaging. But one thing I have learned, particularly doing events in different countries, events in different spaces, like we did a Jamaica event, we did, we've done Lagos, we've done South Africa, we've done Toronto, is learning to, one, hire an expert and trust the expert. But then there's also something else, like we did something in Jamaica, and while our event design team, because our decor was really good, but let me tell you, people don't see behind the scenes, right? That morning, one of the events we had, Debra-Jane, I inspect what I expect. So as a person who runs a company, you, like you said, you set expectations for your team, but then you have to inspect what you expect. People think, you see the glamorous photos and you think, oh my God, I'm going to be doing my makeup and my hair and makeup in my room, and I'm just going to glide in and it's going to be, people are not prepared for the hard work that goes into it. One of the events we had acrylic, the vision I had was there was going to be light, like, it was our closing event, and I wanted an acrylic table, acrylic chairs. And we had white and candles, white flowers. I had this vision, right? And when they brought the acrylic tables and chairs, I'm not going to call out the company because they really did a good job overall. But this particular, and this is the thing, you as a business owner, you have you can't be everywhere at once. So this company, the owners are in trying to manage different events. And then the person that you give, to manage this, that person may have a different idea of what's acceptable and what's not. And they bring the tables, and then they're putting, and this is interesting because this was Jamaica, and Jamaica we're similar. There's an Africanness there. So listen, so hear this piece now. So they now one of the tables is like this wobbling, and she's folding newspaper and putting at the bottom of my table at an iconic womanhood event. I said, Madam, it's not going to work. We have to either get a different table or we have to have a different solution. You cannot bring this level of design and then at the bottom, I'm going to look and I see cardboard or whatever nonsense you're stuffing there. And I'm there, so I couldn't be. So I knew that I had to be in the room because I'd seen one or two things that I know that we're not all on the same wavelength. So I had to be there, inspecting before the people came in. And what my clients did not see was that the tables were also dusty and they're putting plates on the table. I said, are you not seeing that the tables are dusty? I said, is it me and you? Are we not seeing the same thing? And they're looking and I'm like, okay, do you know, Debra-Jane, with my makeup, with my fancy outfit, I'm like, and we literally starting in 20 minutes and guests are coming and they've flown for all, and we don't, we work hard. I bring a rag, and I'm literally myself, my team is cleaning too, because we've told them, the core people, and they're like, okay, we'll handle it. And I'm like, handle it when? People are still standing around. And Debra-Jane, let me tell you, we get in there and I'm cleaning and I'm wiping and people aren't prepared for all of that. They aren't prepared. No. So, but now am I going to work with that team again? Never. I'm glad it was fine, but I would never work with them again because of that, right? But to your point, I think that, like you said, it has taught me that when I move into a space, I not only have to look for a team, because they'll post the pictures of that event, right? No one will know the sweats that the person that paid for the event went through. Right? But to really make sure that who I'm engaging with, like for me and you, I want to work with, I look at the owners. And what you said earlier about being someone who's very hands-on and you're not just handing me off to a team. Like I'm not always looking for the noisiest, or they have offices everywhere. I want a personal touch because it really matters. It really matters. So I think, like you said, managing expectations, but being very clear about your expectations and making sure that the person that you're working with has clarity and has integrity and can see it the way you see it. Yeah.
Spot on. Nicely summarized. Just in my long sentence. There you go. There.
I just have to tell, I think I've been carrying that story. That thing I think has been paining me for a while, because I haven't told that story. I
So
feel
today
released.
you unleashed.
I've unleashed it. The thing has, you know. No,
You know what? I'll tell you, like, even my team. Okay, so I think last week or 2 weeks ago, we had an event in Ghana. And mind you, the client called us on Friday for the event on Saturday. Just the next day. And I'm over here in England. And then my sister sends me a message, oh, this client did it, and it's a proper event, you know, full table setting, the concert, so we need lights and everything else. And I have less than 24 hours to correspond with the Accra team to make everything go well. Now, I was behind my computer throughout the setup. So my friend's husband, Ife, was like, are you still there? I'm like, look, it's like I am at the events. I must be, because I'm asking for constant photos. I'm doing constant video calls, looking at what they're doing. And I'm asking, why are the chairs not aligned? You've told me you have finished, but the chairs are not straight. Yes, the table is set, there are chairs, but they are not straight. We've been doing this for 14 years, and I'm still talking about straight chairs. Like, why is somebody's, you know, some of the staff, not my team, but maybe the lighting guys or the stage people came in later, and they just feel no way about putting their bags on one of the chairs that we've just aligned. And my team will, maybe all because they'll pick it later. No, pick it now. You know, like little things like that gets under my skin. And maybe because I'm OCD as well. And my younger brother the other day said to me, you are just a neat freak. You're just a neat freak. Yes. You know, I just want to see things perfect. Whether I'm starting an event in 2 days, as long as I've set up now, leave it perfect now. Till then, you know.
Yes,
yeah.
yes. No, I love it. That's why I'm more relaxed. Because you can carry the stress for me. Because I'm like ask any of my team members. I always tell them ahead of time when we're having an event. I say, please let me just ask for forgiveness now. Because whatever you people see, just take it. Because our focus is on our guests. And that's what you really focus on that too, because that's why your brand has value. We have to, you know, there's something they say in Nigeria, Yoruba people say, well, they say it in Lagos, and it's one of the challenges that we have, is that there are a lot of people that have this idea I need, which means we just need the general idea. We don't need the structure. We don't need the organ, you know. And when you have people who have that idea I need, the way they think, they end up doing things in a shoddy manner.
Yeah.
What I liked about our interactions is that when we talk, it is, let us pull it, like, let's go into the nitty gritty, right? And then, you know, and we have been talking now, when did we start? March. And we have an event in October. And this is another thing I think that I used to make this mistake. In fact, I had one or two, so this is what I've learned. Let me share my own and you can validate this. Because I love how you describe this, that they called you the day before the event. But I feel like it's because you had a relationship and you knew you could do it, that they were able to do that. I used to be that person who, I have a great idea and I want it done yesterday. And I remember there was a particular vendor, and I can't remember what she was doing for me, but I called her and she's very focused on excellence. And she said to me, listen, I love what you do. I think you're great, but I'm not going to work with you.
Oops.
Because you always want everything yesterday, and you want it for cheaper, and you want it for this. Like, she's like, what she wants is not possible. I'm not doing it.
You're not going to stress me out.
Finish. And I had so much respect for her. This is why, and I'll say this is for business owners too. It's okay to set boundaries. right? So she set a boundary and she said, I'm not going to work with you unless you're ready to give me 2 months, 3 months. You can't just wake up in the morning and come with your idea and it's going to be my wahala. It's not so. And when she said it, it actually forced me to go back and think. And I had to sit with my team. And I also realized that when I do not give myself enough planning time, and when we do not, think about what is it that we want to see, what is the outcome we want, what is the outcome we want for our clients, what is the outcome we want for ourselves, we don't see the results. And so even right now, we've been talking since March. We started conceptualizing Ghana in last year, right? And so we started actively planning in March. We've been kind of passively planning long before that, right? I knew I was going to reach out to you long before I actually reached out to you, right? We just started conceptualizing it. But for us, our goals for Ghana, and Debra-Jane and I have talked, right? We're using some of the top, like the hotels, and they're also expensive. Ghana, you people are not playing games. Also expensive. But let me tell you why I'm so excited about it. So many reasons. But one, I am West African too. And there is this misnomer that, I don't know if I use that word right, but this false notion that you can't find high level quality excellence in Africa. And I'm like, are you kidding? Have you been? When you go there, you even see, we set a standard. You can't find what you can find in some of Accra anywhere else in the world. When you get there, what I love is that we have the blend of what makes us African, and then we have all the cosmopolitan. Whatever it is you want. You want to eat caviar on top of kenke, I don't know. You will find it in Accra. And it is elegant. It is, I have to give you guys your props. I'm still fighting for jollof, but I do have to give you your props. It is beautiful. It is elegant. It is safe. It is pretty well organized. Y'all have a little bit of a traffic problem. I can't really talk about that. I know. I was gonna say I can't talk about it as a Nigerian. Listen, when I go to Nigeria, I have to plan my movement very carefully because I cannot stand to be in traffic. And we talked about that. We had to change our initial agenda because of this whole traffic thing, because we don't want people to be stuck in traffic. Us asking the questions, what is the experience we want for our clients, has allowed us to be very intentional about designing, like, what do we want? People arrive on the 13th. We don't want them exhausted. Let them go check in. We chose the Kempinski, right? Even though we're still praying and fasting. They're so expensive. But it is...
Kempinski manager, I hope you're watching.
Please have mercy.
He's calling you out.
Have mercy on us, right? But I stayed there and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Those of you that are coming, go take a night swim when you come. They have a beautiful pool looking up, right? Take a night swim, enjoy yourself, right? Hey, Debra-Jane, can I make you laugh? I don't know if you guys have this in Ghana. When I said take a night swim, my Nigerian-ness woke up and said, are you mommy water?
Are you water?
It just jumped up. I said, wait a minute. That's mommy water style. Just, let your Oyibo side come out. Take a night swim. It's great food. They have a fantastic gym, the buffet. I know, they have it's nice. I really enjoyed it. They have that lovely garden area too. Yeah, they have lots of really amazing art in the hotel, right? And then across the way, they have that mall, right? Yeah. They have that mall. So right there, and it's all it's like your Rodeo Drive type stuff.
I know, right?
High end.
Yeah, where the perfume shop is and everything.
Yes, kind of high end, right? So they have that right there. I wanted them to have that experience. And then on the 14th, Debra-Jane is putting together, we are calling it Love, Beauty, and Womanhood. And it is a little bit of a garden party experience. It is also going to be a panel where we're talking about womanhood, real talk around womanhood. And we're about to circle back. Debra-Jane, don't think you escaped, because we're about to have, because you're a businesswoman, but you're also a woman. And so we want to talk about that. So at this Love, Beauty, and Womanhood, we're going to be talking about, and this is also open to the women in Accra.
Yeah.
It's high level. We want to talk about how you can be your highest value, highest quality. I know that that word has been bastardized, but we all want to be our most elevated self. I do. I'm constantly wanting to elevate. And baby, I'm about to be 50 this year.
Okay.
I'm still elevating. So, we're going to be elevating, but we're going to have real talk around relationships, around love, around beauty, around what it takes to really live your best life. And with that, let me take a little detour, right? So that's happening on the 14th, but there's more. I'm going to post a link on my page. If you're not following me, follow me, or follow Debra-Jane. I'm going to ask her to share with her people when we get all the links together. And so you have it for our Ghana crew, right? And I want to ask you a question, because we're talking about womanhood, real talk.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want us to go into Debra-Jane, the experience. We're experiencing you. Okay. And so I'd love to ask you two questions.
Okay.
One is, what makes you an experience? And especially from, you mentioned that you went to Accra because love carried you. I want you to imagine that your potential. I don't know if you're in love right now, or you have a love. I don't know. But let's imagine.
You want people to break up with you after
if you are a potential, then just recognize that you have a gem. Step it up, because Debra-Jane might call in another potential. Okay. So I want you to imagine that you're having this conversation and you're presenting yourself, right? And you're sharing what makes you an experience, right? So, and this is important for everyone listening, because so many women, I don't think when I was young, I didn't know this. You are the one that shares, that lets everyone know who you are and how you are. People believe what we tell them through our words and through our presentation. But if you don't know who you are, and you're looking for other people to tell you who you are, then you put the power in their hands, and they may tell you that you're not good enough. You believe it. No. You have to switch it around. So you're going to tell us and model for us what makes you an experience. Second question I have for you is wisdom, because you've lived a life. You're a businesswoman. You are a woman who has lived in different continents. You've traveled. You're experienced. You and I have had many conversations. What are some key wisdoms you would like to leave with the ladies watching right now? Okay. So go ahead.
All right. So let me start from the first question. First of all, I'll tell you one thing today, that mahogany is my alter ego.
Ooh.
And I say that because me, Debra-Jane, and mahogany, we are two different personalities.
Okay.
Two different personalities, and I think that is why when I'm at work, it's like I'm on stage. Because I'm on stage. You know how Beyonce says she's such a fierce when she's on stage? She's somebody completely different. And a lot of people tell me that. A lot of people say, and what I love is people don't fault me for it. People don't get upset with me about it. When I'm in work mode, I'm a different person. When I am Debra-Jane, my experience is also very different. When I'm in work mode, I'm very let's get this done. I'm like a machine. I'm not smiling. I'm a mean beast, and it's okay.
Yes.
I will tell you how it is, because I want things to get done properly. We move on.
Yes.
As soon as the event is over, I'll be laughing again. And you think, is that a woman who just spent 5 hours treating me like I knew nothing? Is that her? But they don't fault me for it. That's my alter ego. And it has to be if I want things to happen. Debra-Jane, I'm actually a very calm person. Totally different to that alter ego. And I would say my experience is I like people to feel safe around me. I like people to feel chilled around me. I like people, and you know, I carry that power too. And I think that also translates into that alter ego, because then my client feels safe around me. They know that when she's in charge, it's going to get done, you know. But Debra-Jane has an experience. I'm very calm, I listen more than I speak. What people see of me on social media, it's business. So you see me jumping and dancing, it's business. But Debra-Jane, I'm a very loving person, I accommodate those I love. I think about those I love. I care for those I love. I'm a very selfless person, very giving. I almost put people before me most of the time. Maybe that's why I get hurt also very easily. But my experience in a nutshell is very calm, very secure, very loving, and very powerful in the love that I give.
You know, I know you have another question to answer, but I just wanted to sort of highlight what you shared, that it's almost like, and this is what I tell women, especially now with this conversation around feminine energy, which I teach on feminine energy, what you just highlighted was how a woman is in her masculine at work and in her feminine at home. So when I meet you, you're in boss mode. That's like your masculine energy, like boom, bam, boom. This structure, right? Projective, assertive or aggressive, that's masculine. And then when you're in your feminine, you're, like you listen more than you speak. That's that passive, receptive, that nurturing energy, that is that feminine side, right? And I love that you shared that, because I think that's an important thing for women to also recognize, particularly as the messaging is going out now. People say I'm a femininity coach, and I'm like, well, I coach on femininity, but femininity is an aspect to womanhood. It is not the only piece of womanhood, right? We have both sides. The key is being in balance and knowing when to show up and how to show up, right? Because I'm also like I'm a boss person when I'm at bossing, when I need to be a boss, but I'm the same person who will cook for you, come and serve you, and baby, what do you want to eat? That's me, right? So I love that you said that. All right, so on to the second
just
question.
Before you made a comment that reminded me of something. So both my brothers came, were here, I think 2 hours before we started, and you had just posted the video. So I said to them, oh guys, I'm going to be on, it's not Impact today, but it's going to be on Think Mahogany. You should watch. And this is them packing their soup and fufu powder, because they're going to go and do it. They're going over. So both brothers went over to one brother's house to do fufu and soup and have their boys' time. And then I'm like, where you go? Watch it. This is the advert. So I played your video to them. And then in the video, you spoke about women need to tell others about their experience, what makes them an experience. And then my younger brother says, why do women have to tell people about what makes them an experience? Men also need to do that. So I said, hey, she's a feminine coach. She's a feminine coach, so she's focused on the women.
That's right. That's right.
Bye-bye.
Don't be jealous.
Don't be jealous.
Brothers, we love you, but we're talking about women right now, right?
Yeah.
We need some brothers to talk about brothers, but we're talking about, it's the same. Actually, you're right. He's right. Men need it too. But yeah, my clients, it's women that are my clients. So I have to talk to women. All right. I love that.
You'd actually I think you'd make a great coach for men.
I have coached some men, right? So when I'm hired by companies, I do have. I don't primarily, because that's just not my calling at this particular time. Perhaps at another time. But right now, I'm just focused on women.
The ladies.
Yes. But I have coached a couple of executive men. Yeah, I'll charge you a premium, Sharon, if you want to come as a man. By all means.
You men, yeah, tougher.
Yeah, I'm going to bring more cash. I love it. Yes. Okay. So share with us the wisdoms that you have.
Even on Monday, my brother happened to be my guest on Impact on Monday, and he said something that I took away, and it was, it's okay not to be okay. You know, it's okay not to be okay. And then also one thing that he said that also jumped at me was, he said, when we wake up every day, instead of asking ourselves, what's wrong with today? We should say, ask, what's strong with today?
I like that.
And capitalize on that.
You
know, then what's wrong with today? Okay, today I'm having a headache. Today I don't feel like it. Today I haven't made any sales. And just lamenting on all the things that are wrong with today, rather than looking at maybe that one thing that is strong with today and capitalizing on that, and that would probably change the whole perspective and direction of the day.
love it. That's good.
He said that on Monday, and then Tuesday I woke up with a different energy. I woke up strong and determined because I'm like, you know, I've been having a lot of migraines with neck pain and this and that, and I'm always lamenting on that. But the strong thing is, I have someone like Ekene who is looking forward to me putting off a world-class event in October.
That's right.
She could have gone to anybody else, but she chose me. So why don't I focus on that strong point, you know, and make it happen? So I'll keep it simple. I know people listen to all these inspirational quotes every day, all this preaching every day. But for me, that alone, I think I hadn't heard anywhere else. And I want other people, I want to share with other people on your platform as well. Because I said it was said on mine, don't focus on what's wrong with today. Focus on what's strong with today.
Ooh, I love that. That's a t-shirt. That's a journal. That's a y'all
businesswoman. There you go.
Yes.
Merchandise.
I love merchandise immediately. Look, this is one of our shirts. Ooh, sorry, I just dropped this. You see,
Okay.
This is one of our shirts. You guys are gonna get that when you come to Ghana. Yes, so I'm big on merchandise, and I'm big on protecting things. So I love that. That was really, really good. So here's we're coming to the end of the hour. We have been holding you for an hour, but I love that, and I also love that it came from your brother. Because that also, it's interesting that we're kind of wrapping up with that and the conversation where kind of men are entering the room at the end. And I think it's important because we can't be echo chambers. We need to hear from men. We need to hear from women. We need to hear from the old. We need to hear from the young. We need to hear from all of us. There's so much wisdom in diversity. And so I love that. That's actually, it's very common. Like a man will look at one good thing he does and he's going to capitalize on that. A woman will look at eight things she does well, but 2 things she doesn't do well, and she will feel defeated because of that. That tends to be how we go through life. So taking a bit from our masculine brothers, right? Men, like, no, what is strong about today? That was brilliant. Perfect way to end this conversation, right? I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being our event partner for Voyage Iconic, for Iconic Womanhood. We have, and if you're, what are the things? We have 4 things that we're doing. We have Love, Beauty, and Womanhood happening October 14th. October 20th, we have the WOW Summit, Womanhood, Opportunities, and Wealth, right? That's happening October 20th. October 21st, all of this is happening in Accra, Ghana. October 21st, we have the Iconic Womanhood Awards dinner and gala dinner, right? It's going to be fabulous. And then we have, in between that, on the 18th and the 19th, is our Executive Women's Retreat that is going to be happening in Akosombo for those women who are, and we only have limited spaces for the retreat. So it is definitely the kind of thing that if you want to invest in yourself, because it's going to be an investment. We don't do cheap. That's just the reality. But you can see why now. See who we have. see who, see who we have, and see. And if I tell you the what she has brought together, she showed me the images and the things she's going to put together. You can see that we work with quality to deliver quality. So I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for being our partner. If you are thinking about doing something in Accra, there is no one else that I can recommend as much as I can recommend Debra-Jane. Go speak to her, talk to her. She is a straight shooter. She has integrity. She will break it down for you. She will break it down to you, right? And she will make it happen. So I highly, highly recommend her. For all of you coaches and all of you, my American friends who are watching and thinking about doing your own Ghana trips, there's enough room for all of us. And so I would invite you to connect with her, partner with her, and she will do wonders for you.
But guys, please, I'm booked and busy in October. So please.
Not on October, it's too late. October is for us.
October is taken.
October is taken.
Because I'm also part of this whole retreat.
That's right.
As much as I'm working, I'm more excited about what I'm going to get out of it.
It's going to be fabulous.
Yeah.
It's going to be Accra. All roads lead to Accra, October 2023. If you're not there, I hate to tell you, I love you, but you're going to miss it. You're going to miss it. It's going to be amazing. We'll manage your jollof, but everything else is going to be fabulous, right? It's going to be so good. I am so excited. And Debra-Jane, go check out her page, Think Mahogany, and you will see what I'm talking about. Follow her if you're not following her. We have women coming from, of course, the US, where I'm based, from the UK, from Nigeria. We have a number of women coming from Nigeria. And what I love about this trip and my experiences, the women who are coming are all so like high achievers, making things happen, solid, right? But at the same time, it is never a mean girl type of, oh, you can't. We don't have that kind of energy. We're so real, authentic. Everybody's real. Nobody has time for nonsense, right? We have some women coming from South Africa. We have women coming from Kenya. And then, of course, we have the fabulous women in Accra, which I have to say, we have to end the broadcast. But I could really just keep talking about it because every time I meet you, I have been blown away by the women I have met in Accra. I have to say thank you. Not just thank you for coming on board, but I want to say thank you to you and all of the women like Chichi, who is hosting our dinner, Chichi Yakubu, Dedo Kofi, Baba, Charlotte, Osei. So many, I could start naming. There's so many women. I met Erica Fremantle, who is based in London, but I met her in the UK. Met her in Accra, rather. So many women, Mary Asante Asamoah, Priscilla Tabby, who's on our team. Hey, where do I start from? Ruby Okua. There's so many of them. So many. Ruby wanted to open up her shop to us. We're going to see her shop, Kua. So many amazing women. I had a DM chat with Christy Brown. We're going to go see her, Aisha. So many fabulous, powerful, making things happen women. And what I have loved about my experience talking to each and every one of you, and some of the women I've mentioned are clients, and I have other clients who don't want to be mentioned, right? What I have loved about talking to each and every one of you is that you have been so open-hearted. Renee Q, right? So open-hearted to me, so kind, so loving, so just chill. I have enjoyed every minute I've spent with Vivi Boateng, dance. They'll just keep coming. They'll just keep coming, right? So many names, right? If I didn't call your name, please, it's just mistake of here. It's not here, right? I have to just say, I am so excited about Accra. I feel as if I'm coming home, right? I feel as if I'm coming home. Even though I'm from Lagos, I grew up in Lagos, I feel like I'm coming home. So I want to say thank you to each and every one of you who have joined hands with me to make this an extraordinary experience for all of us. So thank you so much. Y'all my sisters.
Thank you, my Ghanaian sisters and aunties and mothers, for everything you're doing. I could see all the honesty in your gratitude. Thank you. On behalf of them, I also say thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, we're just going to go ahead and end the broadcast. God bless you. I'll be talking to you soon, DJ.
Amen.
Take
Bye.
care. Good night,
Good
everyone.
night. Bye.